I hate thinking about that fall, not because of fear. Fear fades, but because after certain things, you never look at people the same way again. My name's Ethan. I was 23 back then, working night security at a small office building on the outskirts of Chicago. The job was simple. Watch the cameras, open the gate. Do a few patrols. Quiet. Boring. Lonely. That single quotes S. Probably why everything got into my head so easily. It started on a Wednesday around 2 in the morning. One of the monitors flickered for half a second. At first I ignored it. Old cameras glitched all the time. But then I saw a man standing in the hallway on the 3rd floor, completely still. That floor had been empty for months. The last company moved out during summer. I zoomed in. The man was staring directly into the camera, like he knew exactly where it was. A cold chill ran down my spine. I switched to another camera. Empty. Another one. Nothing. I switched back. The hallway was empty again. I rubbed my eyes and leaned back in the chair. Great, I muttered. Now I'm hallucinating. Then the office phone rang. An old landline. Nobody ever called it. I picked up. Silence. Then a quiet male voice whispered, "Don't go upstairs." Click. The line went dead. Every hair on my arms stood up. The worst part? The voice sounded familiar. Way too familiar, but I couldn't figure out why. That night I stayed downstairs. And honestly, I wish I hadn't, because the next evening it happened. Again. Same time. Same hallway. Same man. Except this time he was closer to the camera and smiling. My mouth instantly went dry. The phone rang almost immediately. "You're going to go up there eventually," the voice said. "Who the hell is this?" Silence. "Because you need to know the truth." Click. I barely slept after my shift. Logic told me somebody was messing with me, but something felt wrong. Deep wrong. The next day I checked old security footage. That's when things got worse. The same man appeared several times throughout the week. Always for just a second. Different hallways, different rooms. Always staring into the camera. Always expressionless. I started feeling obsessed. Like my brain was trying to solve a puzzle before it was too late. On the 3rd night, one finally snapped. At 2:20 a.m. I grabbed a flashlight and went upstairs. The 3rd floor was dead. Silent. Dust covered the floor. The air smelled damp and stale. The fluorescent lights buzzed overhead. Already felt stupid for being there. "Hello?" I called out quietly. No answer. I turned to leave. Then I heard a door creak open somewhere down the hallway. I froze. At the very end of the corridor, the archive room door slowly stood open. I was sure it had been closed earlier. I walked toward it carefully. My heartbeat pounded so hard it hurt. Inside the room was a metal table. And on top of it sat a single folder, like it had been placed there for me. My stomach dropped when I saw my name written on the cover. I opened it. Inside were photographs, pictures of me leaving my apartment, buying coffee, walking into work. There was even a picture of me sleeping inside my own apartment. I nearly threw the folder. Then I reached the last photo. It was blurry, like whoever took it had been moving fast. I was standing outside the office building, and behind me was the man. I spun around instantly. Nobody there. Then a voice spoke directly behind me. "So now you understand?" I jumped back so hard I hit the wall. The man stood in front of me, pale face, exhausted eyes, same dark coat. And that's when my brain stopped working, because he looked exactly like me, not similar, exactly, just older, more tired, broken. What the hell? I whispered, He stared straight at me. "You don't have much time. Who are you?" He swallowed hard. "I'm you." I started backing away immediately. "No, this is some kind of joke." I thought that too. He stepped closer. "In 3 days you're going to make a mistake." My chest tightened. "What mistake?" "You're going to let them inside." "Who?" "The men who come Friday night. They'll say they're police." He looked down for a second. "But they're not." I felt dizzy, like the floor tilted underneath me. "You're insane." So was I. Then he looked me dead in the eyes. "If you open that door, your sister dies." Everything inside me froze. My sister, Emily. How do you know about her? His voice cracked slightly. Because I failed to save her. My hands started shaking uncontrollably. "No." "Listen carefully," he said suddenly, more aggressively this time. "Friday, 2:13 a.m. Do not open the front entrance, no matter what you hear." The lights overhead flickered violently. A metallic screech echoed through the hallway. I looked away for 1 second, and when I looked back, he was gone, completely gone. I ran downstairs almost in a panic. I didn't tell anyone what happened. Who would believe me? Friday finally came. 2:10 a.m. I sat in front of the monitors staring at the clock. 2:11. A black van pulled up outside the gate. My stomach dropped instantly. 3 men stepped out wearing dark jackets. One of them held a badge toward the camera. Police. Exactly like he said. The radio crackled. "Open the door." "Building inspection." My heart slammed against my ribs. Maybe this was all coincidence. Maybe I really was losing my mind. Then the banging started. Loud. "Open the door." I stared at the unlock button. If they were real cops, I'd lose my job. If they weren't. The office phone rang. I answered slowly and heard my own voice. "Don't do it." The front door shook violently from another hit. "Open IT now." My finger hovered over the button. 1 second. 2 seconds. Then I shut off the lobby. Lights. Silence. The men outside started yelling. Then came the sound of metal scraping. They were trying to force the lock open. Pure terror. Panic exploded inside me. I grabbed my phone and called the real police. Men fled less than a minute before officers arrived. Nobody ever identified them. No plates. No names. Nothing. But the worst part happened later that night. When I got home, there was a photograph sitting on my kitchen table, freshly printed. In the picture, I was sitting in the security office from earlier that night, and standing behind me was myself, only this time he was smiling. On the back of the photo, one sentence was written in black ink. "Now it's your turn to warn him."